Coco Gauff's inspiring message, how she's guiding young dreams, a victory beyond tennis. The crowd had just witnessed another masterclass in resilience under the blazing Wuhan sun. Coco Gauff stood tall, not just as a champion of tennis, but as a champion of something far greater. Sweat glistened down her brow. Her chest rose and fell with the rhythm of exhaustion and victory. Cameras flashed, capturing the image of a young woman who, at only 21, had become the heartbeat of a generation. But when the interviewer asked her what the win meant, Coco didn't talk about rankings, forehands, or trophies. She smiled softly and said, "This victory isn't just mine. It belongs to every young dreamer who feels unseen. You can chase your dreams and win your own battles, even when nobody's watching." In that moment, the applause felt different. It wasn't for a scoreline. It was for a spirit, beyond the game. To understand Coco Gauff's message, you have to go back, before the cameras, before the headlines. A little girl in Delray Beach, Florida, would rise before dawn, her father taping lines on a parking lot to mimic a tennis court. Her dreams weren't painted in luxury. They were written in chalk and sweat. She wasn't born into privilege. She was born into perseverance. "My parents never told me to be the best," Coco recalls. "They told me to be brave enough to try." That simple philosophy, courage before perfection, became the foundation of everything she stood for. When the world took notice. The world first met Coco in 2019, when she defeated Venus Williams at Wimbledon. 15 years old, bright eyes, shaky hands, unfiltered joy. Millions tuned in not just for her skill, but for her spirit. The audacity of youth daring to belong in a world built for legends. But Coco didn't let the spotlight define her. Instead, she turned it into a torch to light the way for others. "If one little girl watches me and believes she can, then that's my biggest win," she said that year. Few realize how prophetic those words would become. The world changes, and so does Coco. By 2025, Coco had grown in skill, in purpose, and in soul. She'd won Grand Slams, endured heartbreaks, faced criticism, and carried expectations that would crush most adults. And yet, through every storm, she remained grounded. What changed wasn't her swing. It was her mission. Coco had begun to see tennis not just as a sport, but as a stage. Not just a racket, but a microphone. And what she chose to say with it would echo far beyond the baseline. The message that moved the world. At a post-match press conference earlier that year, a reporter asked Coco what motivates her. She leaned forward, hands clasped, and said something that would go viral within hours. "I play for every kid who's ever been told they're too young, too poor, too different, or too late. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to believe you belong." That quote was retweeted over 1 million times. Schools printed it on banners. Coaches used it in locker rooms. Even teachers began opening lessons with the Gauff quote. But Coco wasn't chasing virality. She was planting seeds. Mentorship, her true championship. Off the court, Coco launched a series of initiatives aimed at nurturing young talent, especially in communities that rarely got the spotlight. Her flagship project, Dream Forward, a mentorship program designed to connect underprivileged teens with athletes, artists, and entrepreneurs who could guide them. The first camp was held in Miami. No cameras, no press. Just kids, notebooks, and a young woman who'd once been one of them. "We don't just train forehands," she told the group. "We train faith." The girl named Layla. Among those kids was Layla Thompson, a 13-year-old from Atlanta who'd almost quit tennis after being mocked for her playing style. When Coco visited the camp, she noticed Layla sitting in the back, quiet, withdrawn. She invited her to hit a few balls. Layla hesitated. Coco smiled and said, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start." By the end of the session, Layla was laughing, swinging freely. A few months later, she sent Coco a letter. "You didn't just teach me tennis. You taught me to love myself again." Coco framed that letter. It hung in her home beside her U.S. Open trophy. The power of words. Unlike many stars, Coco's influence isn't loud or showy. Her power lies in listening. She listens to the struggles of young athletes. She listens to the fears of fans who write to her, saying they're afraid to dream. She listens because she remembers being that kid. I don't want to be unreachable, she says. I want people to see me and think, she's like me? I can do this too. Her humility has become her brand, her kindness, her signature shot when pressure meets purpose. But behind her smile, Coco faces constant pressure, expectations of perfection from media, fans, and even herself. There are days she feels exhausted, overwhelmed by what the world demands. And yet, instead of breaking, she channels it into purpose. Pressure is a privilege, she often says. It means I have something people believe in. That philosophy, turning weight into wings, has inspired countless others to do the same. The speech that moved a generation. At the 2025 Global Youth Summit in New York, Coco delivered a speech that left the audience in tears. Standing on stage in a simple white dress, she said, "Winning is great, but meaning lasts longer. Don't just chase medals. Chase moments that make someone else's world brighter. When I was a kid, I thought heroes wore capes. Now I know they wear courage. Be someone's reason to believe, even if it's just one person." By the end, even world leaders stood in applause. The 21-year-old had spoken like a veteran of a human heart. Her philosophy, victory beyond tennis. Coco's life mantra has become clear. Winning means lifting others as you rise. A victory without trophies. Months after winning the U.S. Open, Coco visited a youth center she'd funded in Atlanta. No reporters. No media. She sat with a group of kids, listening to their hopes. One wanted to be a musician, another a scientist. Coco smiled and said, "Don't chase what looks shiny. Chase what feels right. Winning is being proud of who you become." When words become wings. One of those kids, years later, wrote to Coco, "Your words made me apply for college. I'm the first in my family to go." Coco posted it on Instagram with one line, "This is the real trophy. The future she's building." Coco dreams of becoming a teacher one day, not of subjects, but of spirit. "When I retire, I want to help others find their voice," she says, "because dreams need mentors, and mentors create miracles. What the world sees now. When fans watch Coco play today, they see more than an athlete. They see a storyteller, a mentor, a symbol of what's possible when you lead with love. Her backhand may win matches, but her heart wins lives." The final message. At the close of her 2025 season, Coco wrote a message on social media that summed up everything she stands for. Trophies fade, headlines disappear, but kindness echoes forever. Be brave, be kind, and never forget your dream matters. It was simple, beautiful, eternal, because Coco Gauff's greatest victory isn't the one written in scoreboards or history books. It's written in hearts, in every young dreamer who now dares to believe because she told them they could. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.